As members of Congress, we have a duty to ensure that our government is both funded and functional. We need to make sure that everyone can easily renew a passport, access their Social Security benefits, or apply for veterans benefits. It's our most vulnerable populations, the low income, the people of color, and the elderly, who suffer the most when our agencies can't do their jobs. But we can't hamstring those agencies and then cry foul when they don't work. Republicans have starved these agencies of resources for more than a decade, and the current backlog is turning routine applications into emergencies. One of my constituents is a dental student at the University of Pittsburgh. He planned to go on a dental mission trip to Honduras and lead a team to help the people there. Although he applied well in advance, the backlog meant that my district team had to help him to travel to another state to get a same-day passport at the Buffalo Passport Office. With the current backlog, only those who can afford to travel out of state to take a one-day appointment and pay the increased cost can obtain a passport to travel abroad in time. For my district in Pittsburgh, the two closest locations are Buffalo and DC, a 3-hour and a 4-hour drive, respectively. I'm extremely appreciative of my district team hard work, but situations like this shouldn't be the norm. Ms. Bitter, are there any plans to expand the number of locations offering same-day services to that, so that people don't have to travel hours away?
Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. I absolutely understand why it's very important to have as many opportunities for people to be able to apply for a passport in person. Across the United States, there are 7,000 acceptance facilities where people can go and apply in person for a passport. We do a lot of monitoring and data to see exactly whether we are able to meet the needs of people across the United States. Our data shows that 95% of our customers reside within 25 miles of an acceptance facility, and that 90% of Americans live within a 5-hour drive of a counter, which is where you can get same-day service. So it's what we think we need to do is invest more in ensuring that we have the technology, that our systems are modernized, and that we're able to meet service demands. That said, with respect to acceptance facilities in particular, we are always looking for more places where we can provide service to people. And we're happy to work with your staff to see if there are more places within your district or close by where we can ensure that people can be seen in person.
Thank you, and I hope that that also means a commitment to working more with our district offices to better expedite that process. Another turning over, my Republican colleagues seem to conveniently forget that a big part of how we got here were Trump-era policies that decimated the workforce at our agencies. Last year, Social Security Administration saw its smallest workforce in 25 years while also increasing the people they serve by more than 10 million in the past decade. A 2018 Trump executive order gutted the collective bargaining power of its workers. Luckily, President Biden has since reversed this policy, but SSA workers are now stuck with a contract made during that time. These workers are essential for getting millions of Americans the benefits they rely on to live. Yet SSA was ranked as the worst federal agency to work at in Partnership for Public Services annual ratings. Mr. Poise, why was SSA not reopened? Why has SSA not reopened contract negotiations with AFG after President Biden reversed the Trump-era policy?
Thanks for that question. So we have a great partnership with actually all three of our unions, including AFGE. We actually, last summer, we did come to terms with 6 contract articles with AFGE, and we're actually in negotiations with AFGE right now for another 6 articles.
Okay. Thank you. Often it's the frontline workers who get the most flack, yet the hardest work. One of my constituents was mistakenly listed as deceased by SSA, and in the process of fixing the issue, some Medicaid payments were made in error, and Ms. Hill lost some of that vital money. My district team was able to work with SSA to quickly fix the issue, and they issued them a reimbursement check. But again, if SSA had the resources and funding they need, my district team wouldn't need to step in. Despite all of this, we do have some positive steps being taken. Mr. Levins, can you briefly explain what the Technology Modernization Fund, or TMF, is?
Yes, the TMF was a vehicle that we were able to leverage to basically get a loan to fund the development of a replacement production system. The production system that we use at NPRC is about 20 years old, and it's out of date and in need of replacement. It's one of NARA's high-value assets. With those funds, we were able to begin development, and we are targeting deployment in December of this year.
Thank you. I will be respectful of my time. I did want to add, my Republican colleagues seem so invested in fixing the backlog on our agencies, but I think they need to understand that cutting funding is not the answer. We need to invest in the people, and tech needed to ensure that our constituents get the service they're owed from their government. I yield back.